All right, guys, let's go over the 2025 waterfront housing market in Calvert County. Today is the 26th of August. We're going to go through what has happened and what's currently happening in the real estate market for waterfront properties so far this year. And it looks like there's been 79 listings, and I'm not going to look at the ones that came off the market because there's probably a fair amount that have come off the market. And it looks like there's been a fair amount of sales. So we'll just glance through a couple of the numbers really quick. First thing I'll look at is the combined days on the market. You want to look at this number here because you could take a house on and off the market, but that number here should stay high. It should be accurate. So as you can see, there's quite a few that have passed 100 days, 180 days, 6 months, but there are a lot of single-digit houses listed on here, and a lot of double-digit houses, in the under 3 weeks. I would say that the market is relatively healthy. And then if you look at these pending ones, 1760, 18.5, everything's still moving. And if you look at the ones on the market, you have some that you think might not sell. Let's go through them. Let's take a look and see what's popping. And we'll start with the most expensive, and then we'll work our way down. 1.9 million, Turner Road in Lusby, 167 days. It's been on the market. Let's see what you get for $2 million in Lusby. So this house is on the side of the Patuxent River. If you had the camera the other way, you can probably see this side of the house is facing the Solomon's Bridge. One of these shots is going to show it eventually. Maybe not. But so this house is surrounded by farmland. I do have some inside knowledge. I do believe that there is another house that could be built or is intended to be built close to it. But one of the nice things about this is, first of all, the perch fishing right in front of this house is absolutely fabulous. Right here, all the way to here, and even over here, the perch fishing with some beetle spins or perch pounders is absolutely fantastic. I do believe this house is overpriced for the condition of the inside of the house. The other thing that I'll say about it is it doesn't have a spectacular wow factor. Like, it just doesn't catch your eye. The other thing is the way that the house is oriented. The side of the house faces the water. So when you pull up on the water, you're not even looking at the front or the back. You're looking at the side of the house. So it's missing some wow factor. It's also missing some nice floors, in my opinion. The kitchen looks nice. The pool, it's like an infinity pool. And again, I'm not sure why they're not showing this, but you can see the Solomon's Bridge from the front of the house, or at least from the end of the water there. So that's the most expensive listing, and it hasn't sold. Next up, 1.89 Perry Lane in Lusby. I have been to this house as well. It's a little bit of a hike to get down to the water heater. You have to take a little golf cart trip or walk down. You can see the driveway circles around down here. The house shows very well. It's a very well manicured piece of property. I think it might be a slightly overpriced for the fact that the house doesn't have the ability to have a grandiose view from the house, and it doesn't have the ability to kind of walk out and just get right on your boat. Kind of have to go down to the creek. So Island Landing Court, Brooms Island. Been to this house as well, and of everything in Calvert, Waterfront, this is my personal favorite. This house is stunning. This house has a brand new slate roof. You can see it here. The inside of it's impressive. The outside of it, there's one little catch, and I'll see if I can maybe explain it with this picture here. So there's an easement for the guy that lives like right over here. And there's an easement that goes through here, and there's a boathouse and a dock for the neighbor to use it. Now, when you stand in the front yard, and the pictures will probably deliberately not show this, when you stand in the front yard, you feel like that should be on the property, and it's like right in front of where you're kind of looking out. To me, it's not a big deal. Like, again, if I'm buying it, there you can see it right here. It's, you know, it's considerable. So this is the dock that goes with the property, and this is one that goes with the neighbor's property. And the easement is like in between these trees. Like there's a pathway that comes all the way down. So whoever owns the property can use the dock. I really don't have a problem with it. I think that might be a challenge for somebody, but this backyard, and I wish they would have started in the backyard. The inside's very impressive. It's got an amazing wine cellar. Kitchen's nice. It feels very well maintained. I really like the layout of the house. This is it. This is like an outdoor paradise. Pool's got the waterfall, the composite deck all the way around with the metal railings. This is like pretty high end here with the lighting and the new roof and the windows and the glass. This is just very, very, very nice house. And there you can see the pool. The other thing is, you go see a house sometimes and you feel like you get there and it's not as well maintained as it kind of looks in the pictures. This house did not have that feel. This house felt like it was absolutely worth $1.8 million. A little surprised it's still on the market, to be honest, but it's not a very popular price range. All right, next up, Saw Pit Cove, Lusby, Maryland. Let's take a look at where this one is in the context of everything. So this one's in St. Leonard Creek. Saw Pit comes off Solars Wharf. That comes off. So this is like Lusby, even though it's in St. Leonard Creek, because you kind of, the way you get there, I think you can get there up here, but you kind of get down here. This is all Lusby. So you're right on one of these peninsulas, right inside the mouth of St. Leonard Creek. It's a good location. There you go. It's a little better view here. So you own this entire peninsula, it looks like. This looks like some stunning landscaping. And the amount of riprap that goes around this property is an absolute small fortune. Really, really beautiful. Looks like some extensive dock going on. Zero chance you can build this today, by the way. You bought a piece of land and tried to build a dock. There's zero chance any of this is happening. Where it says right here, covered dock, can't get permits anymore. That's 100% true. I think they should seal this driveway to kind of match the color of the roof. It would look better. I want to see more of the property. House looks like it feels like it needs a little bit of updating if you're going to make it sort of modern, with modern finishes. All right, so you got a boat ramp on the property. There it is. I was waiting to see the pool. Wow, that is a cool looking pool with brick all the way around it. I've never seen a pool with brick all the way around it. Feels like English. This is beautiful. Here's like the guest house. There's the covered. I mean, it feels like a little marina down there. Amazing. The property pulls the number here on this 1.8. Like, I feel like It does need a little bit of updating for some modern taste, like compared to the last one. But this one the property is just a 10 out of a 10. It's an 11. Like this is, I mean, because here's the pool. Think about it. The house is up here. The pool's out here. So you probably own all of this. This is an amazing piece of property. All right, Patuxent Avenue in Solomons. This is going to be a rare find for Waterfront in Solomons. Now, this one's waterfront, but there is a road that goes in front of your house. So, to me, that's a little less than ideal. Like when you live right here, I've walked in front of this house like hundreds of times. There's always people walking here. Like I'm surprised they got the shot with nobody walking anywhere. I don't know if they took this early in the morning or how they did this, but or they took it in the wintertime. Yeah, there's no leaves on the trees. Maybe it was cold this day, but there's somewhat of a scenario that says like this tiki bar right here is going to be a little bit loud. You're going to maybe hear it, and it's going to take away a little bit of the enjoyment when you have to walk across the street. You kind of feel like you're part of I want to say maybe commercial space almost, but it's probably not super, super deep at the end of this dock. You can kind of see where it gets light right here. So you probably couldn't keep, a 30-foot Grady with twin engines on the back and then think you could put it in 12 months out of the year or at super low tides or things like that. Let's take a look at the inside of the house and the view. So this is what you're partially paying for. I mean, the other thing is like you're in Solomons, right? So there's a huge premium to being in Solomons. Like you are in the middle of everything that's great about living in Southern Maryland if you're right in Solomons. Like your view on the back is this harbor. Your view on the front is the bridge. Like the boats are going by in the front. The boats are going by in the back. There's people everywhere. You can walk to all the restaurants. You can see everything. You're literally in the middle of everything. So I can see this. It just doesn't appeal to me personally because I like the beauty of nature and the seclusion of a waterfront estate. And this one is not quite that. But the inside of this one looks stunning. It looks like everything's been recently updated. I can just see all the finishes look nice. So I don't really have an opinion on the price there. It feels like that one's good. Well, it looks like it's sold actually. So this one's coming soon, Atlantic Avenue, North Beach. And then we have Harbor Drive, Lusby. This one's active at 1.64. I have not been in this one. Let's take a look at where it's at. It is in Mill Creek. This is right around the corner from me. Let's zoom out a little bit. So here's the harbor. So you're a good ways back in the creek. I wonder what what's unique about this house? There are very, very few houses other than the houses that are right near the mouth. I guess it's one of them. So I was going to say all these houses that are like right here on this particular shoreline all are close enough to the water where you could easily walk. But most of the stuff on this side and all the stuff back here and even some of the stuff here, they do have some pretty chaotic walkways to get down to the water. So, there's a lot of trees. It feels like the land itself is not super usable. Like you're not going to be sitting out in your front yard. You're probably going to be sitting on the deck, which is fine. It looks like you could do it over here, but you kind of have to like walk out here and come all the way down here. So, you're probably going to be doing all of your view watching from up here on the deck, and then you do have some trees in the way. Southern Maryland and Calvert County do not at all, under any circumstances, make it easy for you to trim trees in front of your property. It's one of the things about living on the water here. So it's got a nice dock. It's probably deep. There's your view. So the sun sets right across here, and you have an expansive view down the creek, which is really, really nice. I haven't been in this house, but if I was waterfront shopping, I would love to have this house, but I feel like this house needs a little updating for my taste, and I feel like the property itself is not a 10 out of a 10. That's my personal opinion. Next up is Garrity Road, St. Leonard. I sold their neighbor's house. Let me see which house this is. Yeah, I sold their next door neighbor's house. So this one, floors need a little updating here. The outside of the house looks stunning. Oh, wow. So it comes with this equestrian center, essentially. This is, this is a whole thing. See what the half property taxes are $11,000 a year, 50 acres. There you go. So this is not even just waterfront. This is waterfront plus, 50 acres, which is crazy. Indian Circle. I sold this house up here, and this was the neighbor's house. So this house recently changed hands about a couple years ago, I believe. They really did a lot of work updating this house. So this is like down across from Jefferson Patterson Park. There's a neighborhood over there. There we go. Yeah, it's a really nice location. I know that the previous owners spent a bunch of money fixing up this house. I don't want to go into all the updates, but I really do like this house. I'm not sure it would be my first choice based on the fact that it's a little bit of a hike to get out of that neighborhood and back out to Route 4. It's probably 10, 15 minutes to get all the way out. And you're a little ways up St. Leonard Creek. So for me to get where I would want to go out into the mouth of the bay, you'd have to leave out of back of St. Leonard, come all the way out, then come all the way out to here. It wouldn't necessarily be my first choice. My clients have a contract on this house. So this is a kind of a special house. The view from the house is spectacular. And what you're looking at across here, you can see the farms, and there's not a bunch of houses around you like there is a house, but it's like there's a lot of privacy here. The pool's fantastic. The house is updated. The manicuring on the yard actually looks better than when these pictures were taken. It's almost like an infinity pool. Like when you stick your head up over the edge here. Look at your view. It's really, really nice. But there's also something unique about the waterfront right here. So this one is far enough up the Patuxent River that you really don't get any jellyfish up there. So you can swim, crab, fish, jet ski, go tubing, all kinds of water sports. And you're also just a very short clip on a boat from getting to a more narrow part of the Patuxent River where it's even more scenic and more like, say you leave out of here and you can see the Patuxent River narrows significantly. So this one feels like you are in a different part of the Patuxent River. It's much more picturesque here. It feels much more like it did when the Indians were here. It's like untouched. There's very, very few piers. If you look at a satellite image of the Patuxent River, when you leave out of here, there's just very, very few. So this is not too many boats come back here, so you're not going to have a bunch of chaos in front of your house. There's a really, really nice riprap in front of the house that goes up the embankment quite a bit with really big stones. And the house, I could tell you that this one shows better in person than it did in these pictures. Like these pictures look like they were taken a little ways back, and they've put some effort into fixing up the yard, or it's kind of grown in better. It just feels better. So the other nice thing about this one, here's the master bedroom. You have the fireplace inside here. You have a balcony right off your master bedroom, covered balcony, and your view out this window is spectacular. This is a really, really nice house. I would buy this house. Next up, Camp Canoy in Lusby, 1.499 sold. This one looks like it's on the cliffs. Yeah. So this is Cove Point, and this is farther up. This is a very remote area here. Like, I mean, what is there? 1, 2, 3, 4 houses. Like, look at how many houses are around you. Nothing. Like, this is one of one. Spectacular view. I mean, it's waterfront, but I wonder if there's a way to get to the beach from the house. They did not show the beach in the first part of the pictures here. You know, I've sold probably 4 houses from the edge of a cliff, and that's always the question. How long until this one becomes a danger to going over the edge of the cliff? And if you know anything about the history, man, look at the view out the window. Look at the view. This is the Chesapeake Bay right here. So this is an expansive view. This is also a sunrise view, not a sunset view. The sunset's behind the house. Well, in this case, the front of the house. Depends on what you want to call the front and the back. I really want to see. I think a lot of times when they sell these houses, they deliberately don't take a picture of the house from the bay because they don't want to have this giant exposed cliff front glaring at the potential buyers. It's like, come look at it. You know, there you go. Look at that. Yeah, it's so here's what I would tell you. Like, a couple inches a year, you're 100 feet from the edge. You're going to be long gone before you have any problems here. And the limbs with the leaves are so up high, the view is absolutely spectacular. I don't see a way to get down to the beach from here, which, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if people go to the beach here. There's no way to get there, but this is so remote. I mean, you're surrounded by like hundreds and hundreds of acres of woods. Look at that, the northern lights. Yeah, the views are spectacular. I would spend all my time out here. Looks like they didn't really develop too close to the edge, but I would have something, a hot tub or something right there for sure. And a pretty big house. Preston Drive, Lusby, Maryland, 1.5 million. This one is off Helen Creek, which is just kind of right around the corner from the bridge. Not a super significant creek. There's not like a lot of people that come into this creek unless they live on this creek. And you can even see there's just not a lot of houses back here. There's just some right up in this little cluster and in this little cluster. A really nice protected water off the Patuxent River. Beautiful view. I love the pool. Again, with the trees everywhere, it kills me because if I bought the house, all I'm going to want to do is chop. Like, I want to open this up. But, you know, you can clearly see there's deep water here. There's a boat lift. Whoever lives here is enjoying it. You do have a little bit of a walk to get down here, and they have some significant riprap going up here, and they even have another fence up to keep erosion out. This is well-maintained piece of property. Really nice, really nice. But you're looking across the creek. You don't have like the view like the guy on the end where you're sort of looking down the creek. So from that perspective, I might pick a different one. I'm not sure. I'm not buying one today. Soper Road, Huntingtown. This one's really cool. This one's like way up the Patuxent River, like way up. It almost feels... I have to go there to see what the waterfront's like. But this house, I remember this is just stunning looking house. Like, look at the house, and the property was also stunning. That is a proper looking house, I will say. I'm not sure how much water's at the end of that pier. I will also say that. There it is. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do justice in the wintertime. And all the trees are blocking your view, which is killing me. But this, if you could just open all this up, and allow this house to have the view that it needs. There you go. So you got a boat on the end. It's working. Harbor Drive, Lusby. This is a pretty cool house. 1.4 million is active. This one's got some character. Yeah. I've fished in front of this house a bunch of times, and I've looked at this house. You know, it has a very unique look to the front of it. It feels almost like a commercial property. It's got glass. You know, a lot of the architecture here is just not common architecture for the area, and I really like it. It's just very unique, and it looks like this is like highly designed. There you go. Here's the glass and the patio area. Doesn't it kind of feel like there's a restaurant down here? You know what I mean? Like this is a commercial property. Like it kind of feels like this is a high-end hotel or something. It just really, wow. What is that? A hot tub in the middle of the pool? I dig it. I would buy this. And an elevator. Come on. This is all day long for me. Yeah, this is exquisite. They got all the high-end stuff in here. The hot tub in the middle of the pool and the glass. Oh, look at the tub in the middle of the thing looking out here. Here you go. This does it for me. I love this kind of stuff. Some people think it's a little gimmicky, but not me. I would want all of this. I want an elevator. I want a hot tub in my pool. I want a pool in my house. I want all of that stuff. This house is fantastic. It's 1.4 million too. This is just, I could tell you why it's probably struggling to sell. I don't know how long it's been on the market. Let's see, 143 days. Let's look at the price range on it. They went from 1.5 to 1.4. The reason why it's probably struggling to sell is because of the proximity to the neighbors, right? Like you got this guy right here and whatever's going on right here and a little thing right here. So you're like smushed in between everybody. You're really, whatever you're doing out here, you're enjoying it with these people and these people. Like you feel like you're just kind of sandwiched in somebody, but if you just brought it out a little bit, but also look how flat it is to get from here to there. You're not going down a bunch of stairs. To me, the value is, this is a gem. All right, we'll do like two more. Palisades Drive, Dunkirk. This one's going to be like probably not. I'm curious to see what kind of waterfront this is. This is all the way up in the very end of, not the end of, but the narrow part of the Patuxent River in a fantastic neighborhood. I mean, I used to ride. I grew up in Dunkirk. I grew up in the neighborhood adjacent to this neighborhood. I've ridden my bike in this neighborhood a bunch of times when I was a kid. And I'm noticing that they have not bragged on the waterfrontness of this property yet. And I think my instincts are right. There's probably not a boat at the end of a boat lift at the end of a dock at this property. This is probably marshfront, maybe. That's what I was kind of telling you about that other house. Like once you leave that house, there's very, very few docks that are going to be on the Patuxent River. I bet you that's probably one of the last ones. I mean, I like this house. It needs some updating. The neighborhood. So one thing about this is like you can get out of Calvert County with you. It's kind of weird. You have to turn south and then turn around and do a U-turn to come back north to get out of here. But there's no stoplights. Like there you go. There's your view. I mean, it's waterfront, but it's not really waterfront. It's really water view. So does it count? I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll do one or two more. Brooms Island, Island Creek. Brooms Island is a very unique place to live that I think is worth a premium. Pretty sure this is the little sort of horseshoe that kind of comes through here, and all these houses along this edge here are, yeah, they're facing the creek. Beautiful piece of property. I mean, the views, I wish they chopped the trees down, but, you know, here we are. Nice hardwood floors. Kitchen's a little dated. You got Corian countertops or maybe Formica. Needs a little bit of updating for sure. Yeah, it's not stunning. A lot of carpet, a lot of really nice rooms. It's just a really, really nice house, and it looks like it's big. I really want to see the outside again. Can we go back outside? So the basement's unfinished. I want to see the property more. I just can't get a real grip on the property. The pictures are not helping me out here. Yeah, you have a lot of yard on the water, which is nice, and an easy walk down to your boat. This is an easy one for me. The views are, but nice house. All right, let's do one more. Solomon's Island Road, Solomon. I think this is a commercial property. Yeah, I'm going to skip that one. Let's do this one. Williams Wharf Road, St. Leonard. Is this really waterfront? You can't see when I'm pulling up the map. No, this is on a cove. This is not really waterfront. I don't know if you can get out of this cove. I'm trying to skip through the pictures because I want to get to the part showing me the waterfront. So far, it is a little dated in here. Not bad, but what are we doing here? How are we waterfront? You own like a 20 acres and you touch the water. Is that what we're doing? Yeah, 10 acres. Yes, it says on a creek. Let's finish up with another proper waterfront. I was in this house 2 days ago. So this house was built in like the 1700s. Unlike what you might expect, it does not have like 7.5-foot ceilings and 10-foot bedrooms and 2.5-foot doorways. It does have what appears to be a need for some updating in this house, and I will tell you that they won't show this in these pictures, but when you stand in the front of the house, it's like right there. The Chalk Point power plant takes up a significant portion of the view, and I just noticed it on my screen. When I pull up the map, you're not seeing the map. So all the times on this video when I was talking about what I was looking at on the map, every time I clicked on it, it looks like you can't see it. So yeah, they deliberately keep the angle of the camera from going to the right because the coal-fired power plant is right there. But this house has some really cool stuff. This has got a covered porch right here, and one underneath it. It does need some updating on the inside, but it has some character. You feel like you have a house with character. It has a nice piece of property. The other thing that my clients didn't love about this one is, I'll see if I can get one picture showing. They probably don't have it in there. There's a lot of wallpaper in here, a lot of rooms that feel like they need some updating. Like you feel like you need some new carpet, and you feel like you got to take out the radiant heat, and you kind of want to update it with some things. It just has some of that. But I mean, how old do you think these floors are? These are like painted wood floors. There is, and let's see, if I click this, you can't see it. Yeah, you can't see it, but there's an Airbnb right next to this house, and there's also a road that goes down to the water right next to this house that is not somebody's necessarily first choice for how they would want things to go. Last one is on the side of the Chesapeake Bay in Prince Frederick. You have your own beach. You have expansive views of everything. This house is really fantastic. Looks like it sold. It was only 0.66 acres. Yep. 19 days on the market. They had it listed for $1 million. It sold it at 1.17. So they got a good price for it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll try to keep doing some market updates. I haven't done one in a while, but just kind of give you an idea of what you get. So this is like, you know, only a quarter of what goes on. It really depends on your price point. Maybe I should do another video, like a segmented video, where we talk about house prices that are between 500 and a million, and then over a million, and then over 1.5 million or something like that. That might make it better depending on what you're looking for. I mean, I can talk about all these. What we'll find is, as we get down a little bit, is you'll start to find some houses that are like lakefront, or the waterfront is not what it appears, but we're still in the $1 million price range, so there's still going to be some fantastic houses there. But I just don't want to make this video too long. I just want to kind of show you all the wow ones, and this is basically what you get for over $1 million in Calvert County up through August, which is the majority of the season. Like, it's probably, even though there's probably a third left in the year, there's only going to be like maybe a fifth of the number of houses that are going to sell after this, because it's going to slow down from here. And some of those houses that went on the market in April and March and June are still sitting on the market. Those will probably have to see some price adjustments. But the majority of stuff does take place in the spring and the summer. So thanks for watching.